Welcome, welcome everybody. Welcome to another great stream of the internet here for the New York session. Um, these buys ran pretty nice. I had buys right from here. Once this 15-minute candle closed bullish, there was a range to fill, and man, they ran perfect. They ran amazing. Wow, this thing is still heading up. Hey, sound different? Yes, sound different. Sound better. That's what we sound like. So nice. Did you open something? No, not really. I took buys around 131,708. I was expecting this wick fill and then possible continuation to 132, but it got up to 809, 803, and that was it. It's basically the new headset. Yeah, this is amazing. It was perfect. Perfect 30-minute wick fill. These are the setups I live for. Um, Price made a high, came down. This candle broke above the previous high over here, right? This candle broke above the previous high, left a wick, and then it was just this was a match made in heaven. Like stops over here on the based on the 30 minute, but if you're conservative, I was conservative here. So I waited for this 15-minute to close. Once the 15-minute closed above the previous 15-minute, it was just amazing. Like stops down over here, like 13, 14 pip stop. And then, I mean, you can just see like there's a very high chance it's going to go to 132 before the interest rates because we got interest rates coming soon too. Oh, Danilo got it, 131,700. Very nice. Interest rate is done. No. Oh, really? Is it? I don't know. I think they're in half an hour. Oh, no way. No way. They're done. Oh, man. Well then, they changed it this time. Well, what can you do? Well, I wanted to get this in before the rates came. That's what I wanted to do. And then I was pretty happy. I was like, okay, perfect. You know what? I got this before the rates. Then I can just like, chill for the rest of the day. But I guess they happened before. Yeah, it should come up to 132 easy. Um, can you give me your opinion on this chart? Yes. Let's take a look here. Yeah, this is very nice, very nice. I had the same trade. I closed at like 802. That's where I closed. But if you're still in it, perfect, man. Just put your stops at break even and let it run. See this here. So we have gold. Gold basically did nothing. So yeah, I think this wick filler on 132 is going to be a perfect target for buys if someone's is in buys right now. Let's what I did today. Trade one GJ. Yeah, I think this mouse, this headset is pretty. It's so good that the mic is really good. Are you fasting? Yes. Let's take a look at this chart. You must feel so accomplished that you got back after the loss of crypto money. You made it all back. Yep, made it all back. Made it all back after paying bills, paying off my cars, everything, everything. Um, if someone wants to come off of mute, just raise your hand and I'm going to bring you off of mute. You'll be unmuted for 5 minutes. um, let's see here. Do you still look to invest in coins after a big loss? No. No, I've had it with Bitcoin. I don't invest in Bitcoin anymore. All right, first participant here. What's this? Oh, let's check this chart out here. This is entry here. Yeah, perfect. Awesome. This is great. TP 16 pips, high made. I mean, these setups are amazing. I basically live for these setups. Um, Price makes a high, comes down, creates some sort of support, and then you just take a buy. Some people like sometimes you would sit back and think, and you would overthink yourself out of the position. And you can't overthink yourself out of the position, because when you overthink, you're missing moves. You're missing a lot of things. Like sometimes you think that okay, I would want price to maybe break above this wick and then take a buy. So now your stop is going to be pretty big. You're going to have like 18 to 20 pip stop loss. You know, so there's a big difference between executing executing and overthinking. Like if your bias is there, you just gotta execute because the stops are going to be lower and your bias is still going to be the same. Um, what's this? All right, Luke. Hey, Luke, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, my man? How are you?
Good, good. How are you? You have a question?
Yeah, nice, man. got them. Got the trade on the news this morning from GBP.
Oh, nice.
Catched 14 pips out of it, so pretty happy.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, because I woke up in the morning and I saw this move up and I was like, what is this? Is this just a correction from yesterday? I didn't really check the news,
Oh,
but yeah, I guess the news happened earlier today.
it was crazy. I had entries from 225, expecting it would pass it. So
Nice.
pretty high, but still made it work.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. Good, you're doing good. I lost 14% last month. Is it too much? It's up to you. Like it basically depends on what you think is too much. How do you go ahead once the first new high retrace and back? How do you take the trade after that? Yeah, so basically, like whenever price creates a high, you have to understand this, right? Whenever price creates a high after like a big trend, whenever price is moving up, two things happen. One thing is like people are going to say, okay, you know what? I don't want to enter right now because price is moving up, or someone's going to say, well, I want to take a sell for a retracement or a wick entry to show off. Those things don't work. You have to go for the most probable outcomes. The best probable outcomes is whenever you see price moving bullish, you have to understand it's making a high. It's creating a high. Whenever price is going to create a high, there's going to be a very high probability that that high is going to get retested, right? So that's the idea. All right, perfect. So we all have the idea that okay, the high is going to get retested. What do we look for the high to get retested? You look for a support to be formed. Once the support is formed, you know now where your stop is going to be. And then once you identify where your stop is going to be, then you just have to execute. You just have to execute, and the bias is that you want price to continue up to retest the high. That's it. And if you miss it, then you have to go to the time frames, you have to go to the smaller time frames, and to really see that, okay, if you missed it, where could you have entered the trade? And that's been my bread and butter, like for the past 2 years, I'd say. Like whenever I want to increase my lot sizes, I increase my lot sizes on just that setup, and that's how you trade the trend. Whenever price is making lows, if price is dropping down, you look for price to create a low, come back up, create resistance, and then retest the low. It's kind of like the sell I took. It's kind of like the sell I took yesterday. I think it was right here somewhere. Yeah, it was right over here. Price came down, created a low, came up, created some sort of resistance, and boom, down to retest the low. And then later on it kept on dropping and whatnot. But those are the only things I look for. Like if you do this like once a day, twice a day for the next 8 months, 9 months, man, you're you're gonna take your trading from, like, it's gonna go to a next level, trust me. And that's all what I do. That's it. That's the only thing what I do. I look for price making high or low, and then execute on that, anticipating price to retest that high or the low, and that is it. I don't look for Fibonacci's. I don't look for trend lines. I don't look for pivot points, or I don't look for nothing. None of that. You just have to pick things which have a really, really high probability of working out, and just do that. That's it. If price is ranging, I'm not going to trade in the range, because probability of a win in the range is lower than the probability of a win in this setup. So why would I want to expose myself to something that has a lower probability of winning? Because I want to put myself in a best position to win. And the only way I can win with the best probability is to wait for price to create a low or create a high, and then make a resistance or a support respectively, and then execute on that. That's it. And what's this? Now the price is creating support to go up more on GJ. Yeah, so like GJ right now, let's take a look here. Let's do some full analysis here. So the 4 hour created a support down here at 138.10, and then, I mean, okay, there was interest rates here. Price came up. Now, when you're looking left, you see that, okay, there's this clean candle that happened from yesterday around London session, and before that happened, there was ranging right over here. Right? There was ranging here. Now you're like, okay, well, there's a higher chance price can come up to 132, 200. So let's see what's going on. Or maybe, the 4 hour can come up to fill this wick at 132. So if you go down to the smaller time frames now, what you see is that, okay, well, there was price made a support here, and if you look left, this support aligns with another consolidation area here to the left. So you're like, okay, maybe now price has broken up above an area which was consolidating before. So since this area was consolidating before and price is broken up, the most logical point for price to go to is now maybe this area, because you have this clean candle that went down, so it just makes sense for price to come up over here. So like, okay, now we have a bias. The bias is, okay, now probably price is going to go up. If price is going to go down, if you're looking for sells, you're looking for sells below 131.480. Because then you have this wick to fill if price comes down, and then you have this clean candle, and then price can retrace all the way down to this point. But we're looking for buys right now. So now you have the 1 hour idea. So someone can say, who's very conservative, they can say, okay, well, I'm going to wait for the 1 hour candle to close, and then I'm going to execute based on the 1 hour candle closing bullish, keeping my stops below the 1 hour candle, like 17, 18 pips, and anticipate price to continue up to 1. Fill the wick on the 1 hour, 2, come up to here, like around 132, and then full target probably like 132, 200. Right? So then you go to 30-minute time frame, you see the 30-minute is bearish, so there's no buys yet. There's no buys yet. Either you wait for this to close, or you wait for price to break above 131,900 now, because that's where the 30-minute has created a resistance here. Try taking an impulse entry before the stream. All right, let's take a look here. Loss I took earlier on GJ, trying to catch a continuation up to retest the high. Okay, price made a high. Took an entry as he broke the high of the previous candle wick. Candle closed early, as I saw. Yep. It closed bearish. like you anticipated it to go up, but it didn't go up. It closed bearish. So then I guess you would have waited for this candle to close and then take a second entry with confirmation, because this was without any confirmation. Whenever you guys are trying to take impulse entries, always ask yourself if you are really consistent in taking entries with confirmation. If you're not good at taking with entries with confirmation yet, I don't advise anyone to take impulse entries. I mean, at times they do work, but there's a probability that there's a there's a very low probability that they will work if you don't have enough experience. So Daniel, I know you have a lot of experience in waiting for candles to close with confirmation. So I would say, man, just stick to that. When I take impulse entries, I'm taking impulse entries very carefully with a very low risk, because the probability of it going in a loss is I mean, I'd say it's higher, especially after that big gigantic move up. So so it's really important to wait for confirmations.
The problem I always have if I wait for confirmation, um, sometimes GJ leaves without me, and just goes up in one candle. So that's why I take sometimes impulse entry.
Yeah, that's good. Apart from showing up every day for a month, how much backtesting would you recommend to do? I don't recommend. I mean, see, backtesting, thing with backtesting is you have to do live backtesting, and what that means is that you have to really come to the charts at the time when you're going to trade, and you have to look at what price is doing at that time, and you have to do that for about let's say 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Just watch price for a month in that time frame and see how you could paper trade. Like, let's say if you were a new guy, like if you just started trading and someone said, oh yeah, just watch this pair for about a month. So what you're going to do is you're probably going to come to the charts at let's say 6:44 a.m. right now to like 9 a.m. Eastern. So you're going to come to the charts at this time and you'll say, okay, you know what, I'm just going to watch GJ at this time for the next month. And as you sit and watch GBP/JPY at this time for a month, you start to create ideas. You start to say that, okay, let's say if this 1 hour candle closes bullish, and then you're like, okay, perfect. If this candle closes bullish, I'm expecting the next candle to continue bullish and head to 132. So during the time you're watching GJ, and if that does happen, you're going to make a note. You're like, okay, I saw this happen, it happened. And then next day, you're going to do the same. The day after, you're going to do the same. After a week, you're going to have 5 days of notes of paper trades you've taken in your mind, and you're going to come to a conclusion. Now, 1 week may be very low, so maybe like after 2, 3 weeks, you're going to have some notes stating that, okay, you know what, this certain thing, it works on GPJPY. So maybe now I can try executing. But when you do like back testing, let's say you say like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna go back in the chart like 2, 3 months, and I'm gonna start back testing like this. This is good, but it's not efficient backtesting. Because the reason why it's not efficient is because now you're just looking at the candles, you're like, okay, makes sense. Oh, wick fill, okay, support formed, price went up, okay, makes sense. Okay, this candle went up, came down, makes sense, makes sense. Like, I mean, that's not good, because like the idea of spending time waiting for the candles close is not there. Because trust me, when you're in a trade, you're looking at the candle moving and closing and retracing, like all those things are involved. So when you're doing live back testing like this, so you start exercising those things in your mind. That's why I think it's very important to just watch something for a month or so. Could you take a look at this trade I did and tell me if you would have taken the same trade? All right, let's take a look here. Ooh, waited for resistance to break since it was bullish. Nice. Beautiful. It's pretty good. You waited for the 15-minute to break up and then you executed. Stop was good, and then like news is it took you up. Very nice. I still want to know why they changed the time of the interest rates here. It's pretty annoying. I was waiting. I was waiting for some fireworks today. Hello, Keval.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, good, good. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Hey, what happened, man?
With interest rates,
Yeah.
so basically, I think there was just too much manipulation, and so I think a couple of months ago they started moving all of the UK news releases to 7 o'clock UK time. So you'll see GDP and stuff like that was moved. I think at the beginning. Hello.
Hello? What happened?
Don't know. It said rejoining. I don't know
Oh,
what happened.
oh.
Um, yeah. So I think so. I think in February they changed it to a lot of the data releases would start being at 7 o'clock. So I think GDP and retail sales and things like that was the first things to move. And now this is the first time interest rates have been at 7. And so I don't know if this is going to be a regular thing. 7 UK time, so 2 a.m. Eastern.
2 a.m. Eastern, yeah. Okay, so basically they're starting moving the news times now.
Yeah, because I think there's a couple of times where I don't know if you remember a couple of months ago where on interest rates it moved 1 minute before.
Yes.
And so based on that, they did some sort of investigation. And so now they're trying to do it before London Open so that it hopefully would just reduce some of the manipulation.
I think that would make room for even more manipulation, because if the rates, let's say, happen after London Open, then someone can come around after London Open and say something, and that would just, yeah, because I think the more time they have to move the markets during a session, more manipulation there could be.
Yeah, true. But I think it's more than it. If none of the banks are open, theoretically, then nobody could really take advantage of having the news early unless they do get in a bit earlier and start trading at that time.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Um, what's my GJ spread? I think I should have my GJ spread as like a heading, because every morning someone asks me, "Oh, what's your GJ spread?" It's like 1.7 pips, 1.8 pips.
I don't see the relevancy of that question, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, spread doesn't really matter. But I mean, if your spread is high, then you can't
Don't
afford
trade
to,
it.
yeah, like you can't afford to trade it. Yeah, here's the thing, like spread is basically the cost for you to trade. If now if I look on gold, my spreads are too high. Like, I mean, spreads are higher for me to trade. So if I look at gold, I'm like, well, for me it's more expensive to trade gold, so I'm not going to trade gold. So I'm going to stick to GJ where like, the price is lower for me to trade GJ. So whenever there's news and spreads goes up, that means now it's going to cost you more to trade. So you got to keep that in mind. Oh, I'm having a revelation. Revelation. Like, that pinging sound you get in the ears sometimes? Some godly being is sending good blessings my way. Gold up or down now? Question mark. Well, if you look on if you look on gold is respecting a support area from 5th May, which was created at New York session, and now it's kind of like reacting to that area. So it's coming back into this big range it has. This is a 60 pip range. So gold will go up, 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 and then down, 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 down. So it goes up 4 times, down 2 times so far. So once it breaks above 1693, 1694, then you're like, okay, well, maybe there could be an opportunity to take a buy on gold once it breaks above here. There's still 7 minutes left for this candle to close. All right, a bunch of people are asking me where I took the GJ buys. So my GJ buys were based over here. Price basically came up, made a high, came down, created a low. Once this candle closed above the previous candle, I said, okay, perfect. Now there's a high probability for price to come up and to maybe retest this wick. And then I said, okay, how much of a range is that? So I measured, okay, so once this candle closed here, the range is like 20, 30 pips. I'm like, okay, perfect. From this 30 pip range, I could get like 10, 12 pips easy. I'm like, okay, perfect. So we're going to do that. Now the next question was, how big is it going to be my stop loss? So I measured my stop. My stop was around, let's say like 13 pips, so I actually had my stop at like 10, 11 pips because I wasn't expecting the 15-minute candle to come all the way back down here. So since it started moving bullish, I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm in a good state to take this trade, and it continued to move bullish. Once it came up to 802, 805, I closed. And then price continued to move up further. So I was like, oh, perfect. Had a nice trade. So now you see GJ is doing its little dance here. So now you're waiting. Leroy, I can't see the chart here where you posted it. Post it in the chat. I'll be able to see it. Do those two candles close at 800 not matter to you for all that trade? 800, 800. Yeah, yeah, but like that's a 15-minute chart, right? So 15 minutes weak confirmation. So if someone was looking to take a sell at 800 level based on 15-minute confirmation, I would say that's not a good idea because it's a weak confirmation. So the 30-minute, there was a 30-minute wick fill here and there was a wick fill here. So I mean, if you're taking a trade, here's what happens. Most people, when they take trades, you're constantly talking yourself out of the trade. You're constantly saying why this trade would not work. Those are the thoughts running through your head. If you're constantly thinking about negative things that, okay, why the trade will not work, then you will not execute. That's it. When I'm taking a trade, I'm looking to see how this trade is going to work. I'm not looking to see why it won't work. I'm looking to see why it will work. And if it works, I'm like, perfect. It's going to happen over and over again. It's going to happen tomorrow, day after tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now, next year. It's going to still have the same things. But if I start thinking about, okay, I took this trade now, let's see how this trade cannot work, then it's not going to work. Then I'm not going to execute. And if I don't execute, I'm not going to know what my statistical probability of the win is. That's something you have to understand. Like if you don't execute, you don't know your win rate. So you have to execute. And when you execute, you're accepting the risk. When you execute a trade, you have entered greatness because now you're going to know if you're going to win or you're going to lose. Even if you lose, that's going to be a big learning moment. And and then you can take that learning moment into the next week and maybe have a profitable trade. But if you win, that's going to be a great morale boost. You're going to, okay, you know what? I executed based on my plan. I saw what I wanted to see. Price did what I wanted to see, and it worked out just fine. So never talk yourself out of the trade. Always think to see, okay, how this trade can work. What's this? Had a buy stop at this area based on a 15-minute time frame. Was it a valid buy stop? No, I don't think it was a valid buy stop because the 15-minute is a weak confirmation. I think buy stops and sell stops should be placed above and below a higher time frame support resistance, like the 1 hour. I'd say, like a 1 hour. Like if you're probably looking for a buy stop now, I think a good buy stop is going to be above the 30-minute candle right over here, like around 131,950, to anticipate it to continue bullish. But they're mostly placed above, below, like a higher time frame. Euro JPY 30-minute chart. Um, yeah, I mean, if this 30-minute closes bullish, I think you have a confirmation for price to continue moving bullish. You have clean traffic here, so it could work out. Euro JPY 30-minute. Oh, someone's already in the trade. Perfect. Let's take a look here. Let's provide some support. Yeah, I mean, this is good. You're already in the trade, and 30-minute has broken the high of the previous 30-minute candle. So yeah, I mean, it's a nice trade. You have a 10, 11 pip stop, and you're aiming for maybe 115, 100. If there's volume in the market, you could get up to 115, 250 as well. This area here. But once price starts to come into this consolidation area, then are some chances where price might start consolidating or start rejecting in this area. So you'll have to be cautious of that. Oh, Pikachu is back. Alright, let's permanently get rid of Pikachu here. Dunzo. So easy. Raja, how do you avoid close the trade before you target, and how many positions you open when you enter a trade? Well, I took one position when I entered a trade here, and I closed at 10 pips. I think this.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, good morning.
Your microphone's really good, dude.
My mic sounds good?
Yeah, man. It's so much better.
Man, just listened to my mentor,
He was right. It's very good.
Yeah.
Nice and clear.
Yeah, I was listening to my recording yesterday, and someone said, "Man, you sound like a pilot directing the plane." Ooh, someone just took a trade on GJ. Let's take a look here. Oh no, you got stopped out. This is what I don't like people doing, going to the smaller time frames and taking trades. Wow, this guy got stopped out quick times. Yeah, see, the 1 hour candle closed nice. Closed bullish.
Did you take trades already this morning?
Yeah, I took a buy.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, it's in the corner. Oh, bad. Good.
Yeah, I think this has a high chance of continuing bullish here as long as it stays above, I'd say, like 131,540.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, just based on the 1 hour.
Yeah, some good moves this morning. It could well continue into New York.
What's a viable amount of trades to know your win rate? I think about like 50, I'd say 50 to 60 trades, like on the lower end spectrum. In the higher end spectrum, I think 10,000 10,000 trades.
Yeah, it could be unlimited, really. It's a tough one. I think I'd base it over a period of time myself, like over say 3 months, and then see. That's what I'd look at.
Yeah.
So if I've been consistent over 3 months or something, or if it's improved over 3 months, and then you kind of get an idea.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the thing is, because some people might take, like 1 or 2 a day, and some people might be taking like 10. That makes it tough then.
Yeah, this 1 hour, see, it's nice. See, now if you enter, now your stop is going to be way too big.
Mhm.
You know, so whenever you're anticipating trades, you always need to know where your stop is going to be. Stop is going to be at like 131, 550, 100%. And now either you entered over here, your stop was like smaller when we called it out, but if you entered here, now your stop is going to be bigger. If you enter here, stop is going to be bigger. Yes, that's what it is. But once you have the 30-minute closing, then you could probably, oh yeah, so it's the same wick here on the 30-minute too. So let's see what happens here. Ooh, your JPY 30-minute candle closed, weak bullish candle, weak bullish candle. The 1 hour also closed. See, now this is where the 1 hour candle closed bullish above the previous candles here, but this 1 hour candle closed like a doji. I think if I'm right, you could possibly ignore this doji and expect the new 1 hour candle to form based on the previous 1 hour candle. Because that was a write-off, that doji candle was a write-off. Like it opened and closed at the same time. So nothing really happened. Like it opened at 114, let's say it opened at like 114.950, it closed at 114.940. Like it's not a big difference at all. It's like 1 pip. So based on that, this should continue moving bullish. What would you say about a negative win rate, but a really good positive outcome over the period of time, like you said, 3 months? Well, that question makes no sense. Because if you have a good outcome, but then your win rate should also be positive. So I guess no fireworks here today. I was really expecting something magical with the interest rates. Nothing.
No, it's a bit boring.
Unemployment claims, that's it.
Tomorrow's the day.
Oh man, tomorrow's a day.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow's a day to watch.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, monitor.
Tomorrow-
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
If I sleep in tomorrow, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I shouldn't because 9 o'clock we have our guest, right?
Yes.
Nine.
Oh, we have a guest tomorrow.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Did they send you the email confirm, Raja?
No, not yet.
Uh,
No, not yet. We're gonna have the best Forex goats here.
yeah, that's true. There's gonna be a lot of guests.
There's some good information.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually we're controlling who's showing up, so it's okay.
No, there's no astrology, there's no moon and the planets. It's gonna be something way better.
Yep.
Everyone's gonna really benefit from that. Let's put it that way. Female trader, yeah, it could be. Could be. One of them could be a female trader. See now, GJ is moving up nicely over here. It's even though it's still like 6 minutes in, it's still got a long way to go on the 1 hour to fill the wick up at 131.930. When you start to earn consistently over time, how did you increase your risk? Well, you look at things you can do efficiently and you look at things, you look at the setups, or you look at the patterns that you know really well, and then you increase your risk on those patterns. You don't increase risk, like let's say if price is ranging and you want to, like, take a breakout and increase the risk on that. No, you want to increase risk on things which you know in your head have the highest probability of winning. Because if you increase your risk over there and if it happens again, then there's going to be a higher chance for you to win the trade instead of losing the trade. Hey Glenn, how's it going?
It's going. You doing all right?
Good.
Yeah, I have a question for you that will probably be a no for most people. I think your answer is going to be a no, but I think something you said today resonated with me is that you love trading on highs and lows, right? And retest of those highs and lows. So do you think it would ever make sense to maybe follow, maybe not just one pair, but maybe a handful of pairs and only look for trending markets and only look for that one setup, for example, as opposed to only trading GJ where, it's been tough market conditions recently?
You could. I think you could if you are a seasoned trader. Let's put it that way. Like if you're seasoned, if you've been through different market cycles, like let's say if you've spent a year or 2 years within like the summer, because different times of the years have different volume in the markets. So when you spend enough time on a pair, you start to really understand the way it moves in different months. So I think that's, someone asked me this question a couple of months ago too, that hey, how come can't I focus on maybe 4 pairs and just look for highs and lows? And my answer was, well, if you're looking at 4 pairs, then maybe on one pair, if you're really anticipating something to happen, and maybe if you're looking at something else, in that instant, you might miss the opportunity on something you were really looking at.
Gotcha.
So-
Because I'm pretty sure that's what Kaval does. Because I follow him on Instagram, and all of his trades are just highs and lows for the most part. And I thought that made a lot of sense. So,
Yeah.
And I just think it's just the easiest trade. For
Oh
sure.
yeah, I've made most of my money on those things, just highs and lows. Most of my money, and it's just so nice. Like even if you look over here, the candle is coming up to fill the wick. So this would have been another one where I've been like, okay, perfect. This makes perfect sense. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
That's what I was wondering. What your thoughts were on that?
Okay. Yeah, you can. I think if you really want to do it, like I know you take some impulse entries and they really work for you, but if you really want to,
They haven't worked this past month for me as much.
It's been a hard month anyway.
Yeah, it's been very difficult to trade this week,
Mhm.
to be honest. Very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I won on every impulse trade in April and lost on almost every single one. No, not April, in March, and then lost on the same type of trades in April. I don't know if it was just because we were in a bigger range or whatever it was, but the market definitely changed big time.
Yeah, well, my personal trading, a lot of my actions have been kind of buy and sell stops this month so far. There's been a big difference for me.
Yeah, so far right now for me, I just haven't found anything too appealing. It's been very, very tough to find like something that I'm super comfortable with. Like I would say when I trade like these like GJ trades, even for me, I look at them and it's very hard. Like I tried yesterday, I got stopped out. Even this morning, looking at the opportunity here, like we're coming right to a major resistance again up at like 132, 100. So to me, it's like, okay, can I get a trade out of this? The way GJ is moving, and it's so tough because of the rejections. Like,
There seems to be so much to the left now at the minute.
Yes.
You can find something. There's always something that's been important.
Yeah.
It's all based on that 4-hour range, basically, we
That's
have for
right.
the last couple of weeks, and it's been very tough, I think.
yeah, I truly don't like this week at all. With that being said, I'll probably look for something next week, to be honest, because this week it's just been nasty. Like nothing's made sense. And when the moves have happened, they've happened at inopportune times for me as well. Like in all honesty, I mean, I should have been in over here, right? These are where the buy should have been over here, but that was at like 5 in the morning, right? So like, what am I supposed to do? I missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I have so many people messaging me about that. Like, oh, I can't find trades. I mean, it's okay if you can't find. Like, it's not a big deal. I mean, Rakeel finds trades. I don't find trades. I mean, it's all personal preference. You don't need to lose your shit over it. But everyone's feeling better now because I can't find a trade. They can't. It's like, I don't know. I could never worry about that. That means that I should be upset because I sit here on the live stream and Rakeel takes wins and I sit here and watch. Like, I mean, because it's like I'm sitting here. I should know how to do this too, right? It's I think people just have to just really worry about themselves.
Like I said, it's a personal thing. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
it
some
is.
trades I've missed selling GJ this week, especially. I missed a couple right at the start of the week because I just wasn't confident enough because I knew the range to the next important level was really small, but then it's just blasted through it and it's gone like 50, 60 pips. And I'm like, yeah. But my idea made sense, but I was put off, like you said, because I've seen something to the left that I didn't like, whereas many other people took it and it was fine. It's just one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like what I'm looking at right now. It's just nothing makes sense at all. Like even looking at US 30, like that doesn't make sense to me at all. Like we ripped all the way back up yesterday. Like I was actually looking at US 30 today for a sell as an example, but overnight we ripped all the way back up to basically where we were yesterday. So does that mean that we're going to rip all the way down today again? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. Like that it's such a ridiculous idea that, you know, now suddenly today the market is rebounding at such a heavy rate. And that's basically what has happened. Like like so then when you look at that, it's like how would you be like from a what I would say a technical standpoint or from a price action standpoint, you had a major bearish candle yesterday on the daily. You would figure that we would get another bearish candle on the daily to drop because you can see based on the daily, just been watching it, like this area here as an example, I was expecting this area to do the exact same thing and then, you know, pull back. But I mean, you don't get anything. So this is now consolidation. So how do you trade that, right? I'm really looking for these kind of setups where we have, you know, actual, you know, a couple of days in a row. You can't trade, you know, in essence, when I look at what I'm doing, I can't trade this or this. I can trade this and I can trade this, right? So I was looking for the next day here to fill this area here. It's not happening. So this now is invalid. I don't care when it happens. It's when I wake up in the morning, I would have wanted to see, you know, this rejection starting to go down, and then I could easily place a pending position to push through, right? But the market is up today. So
Do you think that's a dynamic of that pair, Ted? Or is that something you've seen across? I don't know. Like I said, I know you learn it, well, looking at it. So I don't know if you've gone far enough back to see. Does that happen a lot?
Well, the idea is what I've done is I've taken the like, because a lot of people don't talk about how to trade US 30 effectively. And what I've been back testing over the last 2-3 months is I take the top, you know, I take the US 30 index and break it down. And what I do is I set up my Yahoo stocks for those 30 pairs, those 30 stocks essentially. And I watch to see the correlation. So on my statistics, I take those 30 stocks and every day I mark down what happened at certain times. So pre-market, so I would say between 6:30 and 7:30, NYSE open, and then midday. So those are the 3 times that I check. And then what I see is which stocks are taking the heaviest beating out of that 30 does US 30 move the hardest with? So if, say, Amazon or Google are taking a beating, how does that affect US 30? Because the US 30 is the top 30 stocks based on capitalization, but then you have to review each capitalization. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you mean. Yeah, it makes sense.
Right.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
But people aren't talking about that.
Right.
And you know, the problem is everyone trades US 30. Oh, well, it's going to go here, it's going to go there. But there's a reason why it's doing what it's doing. On top of pre-market data, like, you know, the futures market, there's also data you can pull from. And I mean, I know I've just given away a whole lot of information that I shouldn't have because people are going to have questions on that. But that's the kind of experimentation you should be doing.
That's work, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but
Yep.
people don't want to do that. So,
Mhm.
but and then they'll say, "Oh, can you send me the spreadsheet?" No, I'm not sending anybody my data. But that's what you should be doing for this indice, is breaking down the indice based on each stock and seeing the correlation between groups of stocks and, you know, various time periods throughout the day. And that will give you a better tune of, okay, well, if the majority of this index is down, why is it moving up? Or if the majority of index is up, why is it moving down? Like, what are the key players in that?
It's interesting. Like you said, it's like building up your data. I mean, that could take a few months, couldn't it? Until you get
It does,
to a point where
yeah,
you
and
find it
that's the
very
thing.
well, give yourself a head start, should we say?
Yeah, but that's what it is, so that I know that when I pull that data off, you know, off the stock market, I can see that, okay, yeah, this is probably going to happen now because I have these 3 indicators in US 30 to give me confluence to say, okay, we're going to continue down. And I know those stocks move US 30 the most at that point.
Yeah, it's a sensible way of doing it. It's good. Well, it shows that effort, though. That's like you said, it's who actually goes in depth that much. Who wants to? It's all there available, right?
Yeah.
Testing.
Hello.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that do.
Yeah, this has those mute and unmute buttons here, so I was trying to see if they really work.
Oh, what? On the headphone?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so
You sound like you're in my room. Not in my office. It's literally like right behind me.
man,
It's
these are
really clear.
It
These
is
are
very good.
really amazing headphones, man. Like really cool headphones.
Impressive.
Yeah.
And they weren't $5 million, were they? They're good.
Probably 100, close to 100.
Yeah. Well, after the ones we were all talking about, you know, some of these expensive ones,
Yeah.
just as good, if not better.
They're like $100.
Hmm.
Everyone's asking for the headphones. I'll just put them up over here. Logitech H800. Yeah, these ones right here. These are the ones I'm using. H800. Logitech.
And they're wireless too, right?
Yeah, wireless.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, they're pretty good. So there are 2 things I'm looking at, GJ, here. One thing is I'm looking at is, now this might be a little very, I don't know, like some may say it's pretty stupid, but it makes sense. If we now this move up happened from the interest rates, right? So the rates were kept the same. So what I believe, in my opinion, if the rates were kept the same, then there was no fundamentally nothing changed, you know. So I would say this was just a little bit of an easing on the pound to continue up to maybe like retrace some of the move it had going bearish. So if we do break below 131,500, you could see a correction of this move up.
Yep.
That's one thing I'm looking at. If we break below 131,500, we could see a correction coming down. But if we do maintain this area on the 1 hour, let's say this area right here around 131,600, then we have a higher probability of price to continue up to 132,100. Yeah, something I'm really looking at.
Makes sense.
This past couple of weeks, it's been hard to find a trade on GJ. Does this happen every? Yeah, I mean, it could happen. It happens every now and then. Some months are like that. If you look in March was a really good month. I mean, March had a lot. I've never seen so much volume in the market than I've seen in March. Let's put it that way. So with regards to April had less volume, so I think it was expected because this it's like saying that the first 2-3 days of the week had high volume, let's say like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday you have consolidation. So that's kind of what happened in April. It was hard to trade in some weeks.
And also this week, there was a lot of news coming out. So the market wasn't going to give us anything easy. I mean, with all the news reports and everything that's been going on, next week, you have a little bit more of a relief. If you think of like the wave theory in terms of equity and in terms of economics, I mean, right now we're just consolidating to break out again.
And it's also start of quarter two as well. So yes, that's also important, I think.
Yeah, I think we talked about that the other day too.
I mean, did we? Oh, sorry.
If you trade, no. If you traded in March, I mean, you should not really be too worried about April and May's results.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That definitely. I think you only needed to trade 1 week in March. I think.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, if you trade in 1 week in March, you're good. I mean, even now, I just keep reminding myself of in March I did really well. I don't have to push myself as hard through here because I'm getting not frustrated, but I'm trying to figure out why the market is just so rangy. So I'm just sort of sitting back and reminding myself of that because it's just because every day for me is a new day. I look at every day as a new day, and sometimes I have to take a step back and just look at my previous history to be like, okay, I don't really need to worry too much about not finding a trade, but it's just nice to be able to execute.
Yeah.
What everyone failed to remember, March also was my best month, so I don't care if the rest of the year is kind of mellow. I could just chill back and, let those trades come to me versus being aggressive for those setups that's not happening. Because we all killed it in March, so we just have to be patient right now.
Yeah, you never know that, June, we might have a June like March or something.
Yeah.
Come yet, or something silly. Well, quarter four might be interesting.
So we're looking at your JPY here earlier, and looks like it is forming bullish candles on a 30-minute, increasing the probability of it continue moving bullish. Why do traders make multiple accounts? Why don't traders just use one account? Because
Might like a gamble.
You should.
It depends on which domain you look at it as. If you look at it on a social media platform, then there are other things at play, but to each their own. Not gonna really talk. Yeah, not gonna really go into detail.
I wasn't even thinking down that route. I was just thinking, well, you might have an account spare for a bit of gambling on a, like a news event. I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah.
That is true. That's what I was just about to say. You should keep a separate account if you want to take your news trades. Because if you do take it on your regular account, you do get slipped.
Yeah, that's exactly that. But yeah, I realised what you meant there.
I'm back testing something right now, and I'm doing on a small live account for the emotion part of it. That's it.
Yeah, that's why I dropped my lot sizes on a couple of pairs that I'm working on right now too. I just wanted to get a feel for how they move and what's happening, but in a live environment.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to simulate what happens with Euro AUD in soft FX. I don't have to do that. I can do that live based on what I'm doing.
What's this? This is a chart coming in for gold. Gold buys above this area here. Yeah, it looks good. I mean, if you have confirmations on the 30-minute time frame as well going up, then it makes sense. Let's take a look here a little bit. 30-minute heading up. Yeah, I think if it closes bullish, then you have a, let's just readjust this area. Then you have like a potential support formed here, right over here. What's this? Pitchfork. Yeah, so then you can expect the next one to continue up to, like 1697. That would make sense. Your stop is going to be here, so it's good. I know this is hard to predict, but what setup happened twice recently worth to check. Let's take a look here. Oh, I know that you guys are not a big fan of trend lines, but it seems to be interesting. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, so it could come down. Which broker do you... Man, Jesus Martinez is going in a timeout. Commissions are not low. I mean, I pay what, $7 to $8 one way per lot. So if you have like a one lot, you're paying like $7, $8 per trade. And if you have a 10 lot, you're paying $70. If you have 5 lot, you're paying 35, and so on. Let's take a look at this. So this is GJ 30-minute clean entry on 15-minute. All of these trades were clean breakout trades. Very nice, very nice. Clean retest through the webinar. Okay, so you're in a GJ buy over here. Yeah, this makes sense if you're taking a buy right down over here. I mean, now you're expecting the 30-minute candle to, 30-minute candle is closing bearish, right? I know some people are in buys here. Your stops are below this area, so then you're expecting the next 30-minute candle to continue bullish. That's what's happening. Let's take a look on the 15-minute here. The 15-minute is also closing bearish. So if you're still in buys, if I was in these buys based on the 1 hour here and expecting the next half hour of the 1 hour to continue bullish, I'd be taking 50% out. I'd be taking 50% away or closing 50%, because since all these candles are closing bearish, 30-minute close bearish here, 15-minute close bearish here. So now there's a very high chance the next 15-minute candle can continue down to fill this wick. So if you're in buys, I would say just like do some risk management and protect some capital. That's what I would make. But like if the 30-minute candle closed bullish, then you would have a higher chance for the next 30-minute candle to continue bullish, and then overall 1 hour candle could push bullish. So when things like this happen, what we see are candles closing against the way you want them to close. So when you see that, you want to be risk averse. You want to take some risk off. What was your biggest trading challenge down the road? I think it was over trading. So I really have to stop over trading, and the best way to stop over trading was to just stop over trading. When you stop over trading, you stop over risking, you stop revenge trading. Over trading is one of those things that will solve all your Forex problems. I can guarantee you that. And like a lot of people we have here in the Zoom chat, how many? There are like 102 people. I think some people are really starting to get consistent. They're really starting to see that light at the end of the tunnel just because they've stopped over trading. You might have already answered this when explaining your entry. I get confused if it's a retrace or a new high. Let's take a look here. So this is, what's this? I would have expected the price to keep going bearish after this, okay, but the candle closed with a small body, so that means less volume. So would this candle be a confirmation for quick buys? Yes, this candle forming bullish would be a good confirmation for buys after this candle. But if you're anticipating like an impulse entry after the candle broke, actually, you know what? Who's this? Adil. Okay, Adil. Yeah, no impulse entries here. So yeah, so this candle closing bullish would have been a good confirmation for the next candle to continue up to fill the wick and maybe retest this high, since price was in a bullish momentum. Whenever price is trending up, you're looking for price action to create some sort of a support so you can take a buy. When price is trending up, you're not looking for sells, you're looking for buys, because now look, price has formed support here. The only reason you could look for sells is once you see price closing below 131, let's say 450 to be safe. Then you could say, okay, you know what, now price is going to continue down. So the best way to trade the trend is to look for support or resistances to be formed, and you're going to have a good day. Will you look for buys once candle starts closing bullish? You know what? I might look for buys if the 30-minute candle here closes bullish. That's something I might end up doing. So we'll have to wait. How much did you lose before becoming profitable? I don't think that's a good question because it instills the idea that what you have lost is okay, but losing is never okay. You shouldn't have like a bar set that okay, it's okay for me to lose X amount before I become profitable. I mean, you shouldn't, man. Like some people don't lose at all and they become profitable. Okay, let's take a look at this. This is waiting for the 15-minute candle to close above. Oh, okay. I think this chart was sent before. Now prices moved way up, so we were right. We were right about this doji candle, of ignoring this candle. This has moved what? Oh, this has moved like 10, 11 pips right now. Pretty good, pretty good. Have you tried trading all 3 sessions? No, I can't. I think with these live streams, the learning curve for a lot of people has been reduced, like a lot. Like like the learning curve. Like sometimes like you'd come on, you learn on your own. It'll take you like months. I think those months have been cut down to weeks.
Yeah, I think that's right. You can see the progression. I mean, I can see the progression in some of the people sending charts and what we do in the morning. And just in that short period of time, which is like 3 or 4 months, you can see the improvement in that massively. It's unreal.
Yeah, because not only we come over here and we call out our trades and we do analysis, but it also like helps. I think it helps like like a Ted and Monty and me too, because now when we're here we like show what we think. It just reaffirms that idea even more.
Mm-hmm.
Because
sorry, go on.
No, you go on.
I was going to say, because this morning we had a real good example. So I was thinking about a potential buy stop on somewhere above, somewhere over there. So you just moved it. In my head, for me, I was thinking that might be a good option. Discussing it, someone in the chat who's quite a regular said the exact number that I was thinking, and that kind of even gave me a little bit of confidence myself, if you know what I mean, as well, because they were thinking the same thing, and then we ended up taking the play, and it ended up working out really well in the end. So it's just nice that input, and you can see people on the same kind of wavelength, because when you're explaining stuff, they've got the same kind of feedback coming back the other way. It's good. You can see the learning curve. It's ever so good. It's very good to see.
The only downside to what we do is we don't allow people to experience big mistakes. So what I find that we've done is we've created a bunch of, I think, more efficient traders, but because we've experienced the downsides and the multiple issues,
Mhm.
we've solved those. But when you give people the answers in certain respects, they don't have a respect for
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
the behind the scenes. So when they lose or when they don't have a good week, they've never experienced that really, consecutively. So it throws them off, right? Because for the most part, a lot of the stuff that we do here was sort of self-diagnosed in terms of, hey, let's back test this, let's figure out this, let's see if this works. We had to go through the trials and errors to get to that point. Now when we give out information, it's sort of the packaged, hey, we learned not to do all this, so don't do that. But I think sometimes people need to experience that, because what ends up happening is we've accelerated the learning curve, but we haven't accelerated the psychological curve.
Yeah, so that's an
Right?
important point. Yeah, that's a very
That's
important point.
my only downside to what we've done, and it happens in mentorship, it happens everywhere. When you give people answer keys, not spoon feeding, but just answers, and not having them research them or figuring them out themselves, the learning curve increases tenfold, but you're psychologically not there, because you're just assuming that, hey, I have all the information, I should be doing this, and it burns a lot of people, because when you run into a negative situation, you also overreact, because you haven't been there in the trenches to be like, hey, this is a normal thing. So it's just sometimes the experience side, we give away a lot of good information, but people are getting like 5 years of experience now in like 3 months, and that's scary because they haven't gone through market cycles, they haven't seen certain things. So that's where I just caution people that this is really good information, but don't go off the deep end when you start having, scenarios that you haven't seen before, because that's an experience thing that nobody can teach you. You got to teach yourself how to do that. Like, we can't teach experience.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I never thought about it that way. That's very important. It's a huge shock to the system, I guess, some of them things. But like you said, we've all worked through that, and it's kind of like a given, if that makes sense. Yeah. As long as, the main thing, the basics of, like, especially when we talk about risk and stuff and understanding that correctly, probably the downside of it won't be too bad, as much as if you weren't coming into it fresh and just risking whatever because you didn't really understand it. So should help a little bit, but
yeah, it's just, that's the only thing I caution, is if people, your experience content or the experience, you just can't learn that. You got to deal with that.
I really, really think price, once breaks this area, is going to continue down. Going to keep an eye on that. What can we expect? But yeah, I don't want to talk about. Let's take a look at this chart. So this is SP 500. Oh, this makes sense. Entered at the beginning of this candle, stops below this candle. Yeah, it looks good. I mean, if this continues up, man, Kavan, you have to mute yourself, please. So yeah, this looks good. Price made a high, came down, created support, and now it's continuing to go up. So this makes sense. It's kind of like the same trade I took on GJ earlier. Let's take a look at this chart. Gold. Oof. Waiting for the next candle to close bullish to enter. Left we have clean traffic. My stop loss is just below the candle actually. Okay. Yeah, it looks good. I mean, if it does go up, like the 1 hour, it hasn't closed yet. The previous one closed like a doji, the 30-minute, the only thing you have on your side is the 30-minute right here. And you're expecting this 30-minute to continue moving bullish because the previous one closed above the 1, 2, 3, 4 30-minute candles. We closed above 1692, 1693. So for that to happen, I think you need the 15-minute candle to start flipping bullish. If it doesn't flip bullish, I think the trade idea might not play out. What's this chart? Oh, nice. Someone entered a sell. Very nice. Mr. Mac is in a sell. Alfonso. Yeah, I think so too. I think if it breaks below 131,500, it could correct this whole move from this morning. Because interest rates, I mean, there was nothing changed. There was no big decision made. Like if you look here through the board, it's just the same. The votes are the same here. The bank rate is the same, so nothing changed. So that was just like a shock move, because I think the reason why it went up was because the news came as expected. Whenever you have news that comes on as expected, that means it's good news. It's good for the currency. So the market reacts to that, right? So I think that reaction was just based on the good news outcome. So now I think since there was nothing changed, once we break below 131,480, we should continue down to 131,200 to be safe, and then 131,100.
I mean, they did say Bank of England basically said that there's a good chance that it's positive that they're going to recover through economy-wise based on what they're predicting, a lot better than when we had the big crash before. So there's a little bit of positivity that they put into the market, but like you said, everything stayed the same. But that's kind of what was said as well. So that might have added to the whole jump up. But I think if it breaks that and starts breaking down the whole move, you think we could potentially flip that daily and actually end up bearish again. Seems a long way off yet, but from considering where it went to,
Whew. I don't know. That's a long way to go to flip bearish.
Well, yeah, I know, but if you look at the correction, if you were to correct the whole move from this morning, we'd be a long way. We'd be nearly there, basically, and that would be a big grab of orders to.
What I was,
further, right?
yeah. What I was basically thinking was basically this 4 hours. So once this 4 hour formed like 2-3 hours ago, it just went bullish. So once we have this 1 hour candle starting to come down, I think it should come down here. But like flipping bearish would be price going through this consolidation. Could happen.
Yeah.
If you also look at the daily, it looks like we've got quite a bit of nice traffic going down, and that we broke out of this consolidation area, and that we're just potentially just retesting it.
That's kind of what I was looking at with the wicks to the left on that daily that comes down to maybe like, where was it? I can't remember what it was now. Remember like 29.8 or something, I think. Not that we're going to go there now, but if it was to flip, that would give it a good chance.
Yeah, that's exactly where I've got my level marked. 750.
But yeah, it's a big ask to flip it today, I think. But if you get momentum to cover that move off from this morning, that would be pretty interesting.
All right, let's take a look at this. USD ZAR. Minimal bullish momentum past few hours. Stops above the candle. Looking for sell entry after candle. Current candle. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. You have this candle close below the candles here to the left, and you're expecting this to continue down. Maybe like fill this wick and continue bearish. I'm a little uneasy on this setup, so I may give it another hour depending on volume. That makes sense. I think your bias could play out. It's a pretty good bias. Bearish bias. GJ idea. Let's take a look at this idea. If the 1 hour close previous bullish candle buys a sell, yes. I think safe sells is going to be below 131,500 or 480. It's going to be safer sells.
Ted, was your new pay you were looking at? What was it? Aussie based. Which one?
Euro AUD.
I was just looking at that then. Yeah, it's interesting. On 4 hour, anyway.
Yeah, we just hit a support at 166,700, and now we bounced off of it. But what I have noticed with Euro AUD is in a when the daily candle's bearish, there's a massive pullback between, like, I would say 6 and 8 a.m. Eastern. So over this time frame, and then after around 9 o'clock, 9:30, it just continues trend, and it destroys the rest of the day. Like, it'll just keep breaking down the rest of the day. Even in mid-afternoon, it actually breaks down pretty heavy.
I don't know if that's just because of. I mean, if you look on a high, well, I guess you have, but on a daily, obviously this big spike we've had up and down. But prior to that, it looks like it does the same. Yeah, like once it gets moving, it goes good, right?
Wow, look at this.
Yeah, that'd been awesome.
That's crazy.
It's very similar to EN that I was trading the other day. It's similar, very similar setup.
Yeah, it just trends very, very hard. So it's actually very interesting.
Is that more of a long-term idea, I think? Because I found on EN that using 4 hour stops was a lot easier, if that makes sense. Low down time frame stuff, I'll get stuck on quite a bit. Stopped out on 15 minutes and stuff. It catches me a bit. High time frame stuff seems to work a lot better.
The thing is too with Euro EA, the pip value is weaker, so I mean you're trading longer for less, so to speak. But I mean, it moves pretty easily. It was just, I mean, with GJ moving the way it is, and gold was spread so high, I've started to go out and fish at other charts. So I'm going back to my basics of where are there big moves and how can I catch those moves. So scanning a lot of pairs. This pair seemed to give me those big, giant 4 hour candles that I'm looking for.
Yeah. That's kind of what we did start this week, actually, because Kevel kind of brought it to our attention start of the year, EN especially. And I've spent a bit of time on that, looking at it, and it works out. We use it as a backup because obviously GJ being as it was and gold, we kind of had a good day on that on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember now. And the same as EG, it was similar, but that's kind of finished now. But
H1 support, my trade. This chart, it doesn't make any sense. Can't see this chart at all. Let's take a look here. Oh, wrong chart. This is your JPY 15 minute. What do you think? Rejected this area, bias bearish on 30 minute and 1 hour, TP1, TP2. Yeah, it could work. The only problem is there's a lot of consolidation here to the left, so it may cause some issues. But if you see candles going bearish, that means it's good because then the candles are closing in your direction. And GJ is coming down to this area here. Once it breaks, man, we're like correcting this whole move that went up. Let's take a look here. This is GJ respecting 50% fib level, and then what? I mean, there's nothing here. There's no analysis, there's no labeling, I mean, what are we looking at? We're looking at buys, sells, nothing. GJ and GU looks like mirror images right now. Yeah, I think GJ and GU look like mirror images because I think the dollar is just ranging for tomorrow. So, it's being mostly influenced by the pound. That's why I think it's kind of like, in the same mirror images. Let's take a look here. This is GU 4-hour. Possible sell here and all the way down. Yeah, this looks good. I do think it should continue down, like, once we break there. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look at some levels on GU. GU 4-hour. 4-hour, we had a support down here at 1.23150. Looking at it from a 1-hour perspective, 1-hour did create some sort of a resistance here at 1.23750. And yeah, it looks like we should continue down to maybe like, fill this wick here and then continue down to 1.23130 with the New York Open. As the New York Open starts, that volume may push it down, but at the same time, you have to understand we are approaching some sort of a support over here, like a minor support. So you might see some sort of a retracement and then continuation.
So on top of that, the reason why I would like GU over GJ is right now the US dollar is gaining a lot of strength based on sort of the stock market activity, so the New York Stock Exchange. And if we believe the pound is bearish, now you have two strong currencies with a very polarized position. So you have a US dollar gaining strength and the pound weakening. So GU will probably move very cleanly if you see GJ moving very cleanly, but the move on GU will probably be exponentially easier because of the fact that if we believe the US dollar is gaining strength based on the sentiment that, the economy is starting back up, people are putting money back into it, blah, 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 you're going to get a stronger move with GU. So it's something to keep in mind. We always talk about, currencies and how they correlate. This is an example where you have two very strong country currencies, one that is, looking a little weaker and one that is looking stronger. So you'll get a very, very clean move in that respect. So it's something to keep in mind when you're looking at these pairs.
Just a quick check. Pretty minimal analysis, but it's still silly. Oh, what's this? Someone said silly analysis. GP CAD. 4-hour break of strong support, have a sell pending. Yeah, it could. I mean, I don't know. 4-hour. Let's take a look at it on the small time frames. Oh, nice. It's coming down. It's good. I mean, how low can you go? Let's take a look here. So we're breaking the support. So now here's a pretty good example, right? Price is breaking support. As it breaks and closes below support, it's going to make a low. Once the low has been formed, You have to wait for price to create like a minor resistance and then take a sell coming down. That's going to be a much better trade, just like what happened here. Price came down to support, created a low, went up, created a resistance, and then people took sells coming down to retest this low. So that's something you have to wait for once price starts falling here. Your JPY, we talked about earlier. It's moving very, very well. Some people are already in buys here, so it's pretty good. GJ, waiting for this support to break at 131.480. Do you think this bullish move on GJ from London was a fake out? Yeah, because nothing was changed fundamentally. So it could be. What's this? 4-hour resistance consolidation zone matches up to the left. Okay. My trading time is in. Oh, your trading time is in here. Okay, yeah, this makes sense now. So your price is coming down to support. So now you have to see. So now either a candle closes bullish. If you have a bullish candle forming, then there's a higher probability price may continue up to retest this area. But if you have bearish candles forming, and if we break below this area, then there's a higher opportunity we're coming down. So I think you're well within your trading time here. From what age you started trading? When did someone turn 33? I think I was 28, 29. 28, 29. So I spent a lot of time, like having a job and working and really going through the grind in life. So that's when I started trading. Someone said he was 6. Yeah, that makes sense. If you take a second trade, would you size down or keep the same lot? I will size down. If I take a second trade, I'm going to size down. What's this? Please take a look. Let's see here. Gold 30-minute. Stops above the previous high. Yeah, it's too messy. Gold is too messy. I would say if you're trying to trade gold, wait till NFP tomorrow. Look for easy things to trade. Gold. I don't know. I don't even know why you're trying to sell gold. Wait, what? Oh, this was in the past. 1693. We're sitting at 1695. I don't know why people send charts from the past. Come on. All right, milk the trade. Milk the trade FX. Very nice. What's this? Is this a EMA coming from the opposite direction? Is this future EMA? USD ZAR played out. Oh, nice. It did play out. Beautiful. I think USD ZAR has a lot of volume. It moves a lot. There was a time when people were trading USD ZAR a lot in our groups. I mean, USD ZAR was one of those pairs they were trading, GJ and USD ZAR, and people were losing left, right, and center. You know, they'd have one good move and then they'd try to overtrade and trade again and trade again, and it would just end up very bad. So I think when you have pairs that have a lot of volume, you're really restricting the amount of trades you're taking on those pairs. Who is your favorite rapper? Eminem. Oh, someone got sniper buys on US30. Let's take a look. Oh, nice. Nice sniper buys. Stop loss below the candles. 30-minute found support. I think this was the same situation on SP 500 that we looked at earlier. What material did you find most helpful to study at the most when you were first starting as traders? Nothing really. I mean, I studied a lot. I studied everything. I studied like, divergence and indicators. I studied like everything you can think of. But the only thing that really stuck to me was just focusing on one and two trades and just focusing on the candles. That's it. If you can focus on the candles themselves, then man, you're gonna have a really, really, really good time trading. It's gonna be much. It's gonna be like there's gonna be less anxiety. You're gonna be less prone to take trades. I mean, if prices coming down and some people are in sells here till 131 480, you're in a very good position. But if you're looking for buys, you're not looking for buys at this area because the candles are bearish right now. If you're looking for buys, you're looking for candles to form bullish. But I do believe that this move that went up from before is going to get corrected. So that's something I'm going to look out for. If I see confirmations that candles are breaking below 131 480, 131 450, then I'm going to try to execute and maybe write it down to 131 200 or 100. How do you look to take multiple entries? Well, when we take multiple entries, we're going to talk about that when it does happen. I saw you like 6ix9ine's latest post. Yes, yes. Takashi is going to go live on Friday, 3 p.m. Central Time, and I'm going to be there to watch that live. I'm a huge fan. Takashi 6ix9ine. GJ 15-minute chart. Broke minor 15-minute support. Okay. Sells on the break of the low with NY open volume coming. Beautiful. Beautiful. This is perfect. Awesome trade. Coming down. See, there's nothing wrong in catching small moves. Some people say, oh, like you gotta catch these big moves and this and that, but it's perfectly fine to catch small moves. Like some people here, like I'm not gonna say myself, but like some people here are like living proof that you can make a consistent income by catching small moves every day. Like 1 or 2 moves, that's it. That's it. You can make a consistent income catching small moves. Like, of course, you're going to start small. Like, let's say you start with like a 10-cent lot or 5-cent lot. Like, you're making like $5 a day or $15 a day. Like, for you, it may not seem a lot, but for your mental, for your what's the word? For your confidence, it's a lot because you're winning trades. And as you catch like $5 a day or like $10 a day, that comes up to like maybe you're profiting $30 a week. That's a lot because $30 a week, $40 a week, man, 2-3 months from now, that can turn into $100 a week, $200 a week, and $200 a week is like what, 2 times 4? 2 fours are 8. $800 a month. That's a lot of money. If your daily wage is, let's say, $2,000, now you're making $800 extra dollars. It's not like if you're withdrawing, even if you withdraw like, let's say, half of that, a 400 increase a month in your pay is a lot. Your living standards really increase with those extra $400, and people don't really value the extra money you make, but it's really, really important. I didn't start with making 1,000 a day or 4,000 a day or 500 a day. No, I started by making $10 a day, $20 a day. When we first started, we were taking trades. Man, we were happy. We were happy making $40 a day. I'm like, oh shit, I made $40. Awesome. And that grew into $1,000. I mean, the distinction between $500 and $1,000 a week is okay, but that 1,000 a week turns to 2,000 really fast. 2,000 to 4,000 turns really quick. And once you reach that level, then you start really pushing yourself to the extremes where you can really push. So starting small is just as important as, like, you just sitting back and saying, okay. One great example is Alex, the guy who used to come on the lives here and say, good morning, good morning, good morning. He's a really good example. Like, he only trades GPCAD. He started by trading 10-cent lots, and now, like, he's in our groups here, and he's now smashing one lots. And that's when the change happens. I mean, he grinded for months on 10-cent lots, and one day I said, hey, like you're winning most trades. Why don't you just, you have money set aside, why don't you just do like one lots or 50-cent lots? And once you do that, then things start to change. You're like, okay, you know what? Now I went from making $20 to $30 a day to $200 to $300 a day. Just the same thing. So it's just knowing like what you really want out of trading. Like, if you come into trading by like swinging bats, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna, like, over risk and over leverage, and I'm gonna trade all the pairs, I'm gonna catch all the moves. It's not gonna happen. It may happen once or twice, but it's not gonna happen, trust me.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the other thing is too, I can't believe how much influence social media has on people's like their way of life, so to speak. I can't believe how much impact that has. I look at just the messages I get, and I have people that, technically speaking, we're all strangers. We don't know each other than people that you've met in person. And I can't believe the influence that people put on others that they don't even know. It's actually really, really such a toxic trait. People that are learning how to trade, they say, you're my inspiration. I want to do like this one day, and it's just, I don't know. I can't fathom just like that would be me, the equivalent of me reading the newspaper and reading an article going, man, I hope I can write an article as good as this guy one day. I don't even know who that guy is. I don't even know his story. I don't know anything about his life, but I want to be like him. And I think that's the biggest challenge and the biggest mistake new traders make is they go around looking at everybody saying, oh man, I'm going to be like them. I'm going to do like this. I'm going to do. Just chart your own path. That's the biggest thing that you can do is just chart your own path and really, really understand what your comfort levels are, your education levels, maybe, even your comprehension levels, like just simple diagnostics of what you do as a person. Don't worry about everybody else. Nobody's going to be like me. Nobody's going to be like Raja. No one's going to be like Monty. You can't be like the other person. You can't strive to trade like the other person. You can't strive to have the same life as the other person. You got to really just take into account where you're coming from and how you can mold your situation into profitable trading or into consistent trading or whatever gap you have in your trading. You got to use your situation and take elements of positive ideas from your situation and apply them. It's just really, I don't know, I can't emphasize it enough. You can't copy other people. You can't be like other people. Like, I don't know what society's done, but I never wanted to be like anybody. I wanted to be myself.
It's that idolising thing said. Yeah, I mean that's the worst part. I think when people look like they have to be like someone, I just don't get that bit.
Yeah, like I don't know. I guess, like I've said previously, I've always just been happy watching other people become successful, but I've never said, well, I got to be like them. It just never made any sense, because that area of success has been used. Like, let's put it this way. If you say to yourself, well, I want to be like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, you can't be like them because they've already created their success in that area. You can't create another Amazon. You can create something similar to Amazon, but you can't create another Amazon. Like, there can't be Amazon Part 2. You can't be the clone of Jeff Bezos because the world is constantly changing. The environment that we're in is changing. The economy, the global work, everything like that. So you can't do that. You would have had to be Jeff Bezos in 1996 or whatever time he started. You can't turn around and say, I'm going to be Jeff Bezos now. You can't. That time is done. It's the same thing when I read these books about real estate, about, the best books are like that Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Everybody reads that book. That book's irrelevant now. He wrote the book because he needed to make money. You write a book because you're done doing what you're doing. Like people that do real estate seminars, the real estate market's already changed. What you wanted to do 6 months ago, you can't do now. You have to adapt, and you have to be able to take ideas that are happening in the current market and troubleshoot those and say, okay, for the future, this is what we want to do. This is the need that I see. It's very, very hard for people to grasp that, and it's challenging because then you say, well, what can I do? If I can't be like anybody, what am I going to do? You're going to solve that for yourself, and you're going to find that it's going to make the most sense for you. And that's the biggest advice I can give to young people is just please stop trying to clone yourself. Try not, like, if you have to, delete social media. Like, just don't follow anybody. Just focus on yourself, and you'll feel so much better. Like, in all honesty, it's just, really, really be smart. I mean, a lot of the concepts out there, a lot of the ideas are very, very straightforward. They're not difficult. They're not something new. Just really, really put yourself into a position to win with looking at things around you and who you are as a person. Nobody's going to make you. You're going to make yourself. And with that said, GU dropped and GJ dropped. Interesting.
I was watching GCAD actually.
Yeah, I saw GU. I got in GU.
Rakeel, you're muted.
Yeah, I forgot to press the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about how, like, I had a sell, got activated. Now we're going to correct this move here.
He took a trade and he's done. He's finished.
News incoming. Let's take a look here. News incoming. Unemployment claims, yes. I don't think it's gonna. These are gonna do a lot. Let's look at the 15-minute. Yeah, 15 minutes is good too. 15-minute close. 15-minute close with the wick at the bottom. I mean, 15-minute candles are very weak confirmation, so I think it should still continue down. The 30-minute also should continue down. I had entries from like what's this price here? 478, 460. I closed one and now stops are at break even at 453. 131, 453.
What did you say? 470?
Yeah, so I had one at
Good work.
yeah. Entered at 478, so kept stop right over here as it started to come down, got like 10 pips, closed it, and now when is that break even?
Nice.
Because once we really start breaking below, like pushing towards 500, this was there was no confirmation. This was just based on experience that I've seen this happen before. There was
This is
no
what I mean.
confirmation.
Recently, sorry, I was going to say this is what I mean. Recently, a lot of the plays have been like a stop play for me, based on that type of thing, because it's kind of coming with the volume and just trying to time it really.
Yeah.
So it always tends to be at a level which is like important. You haven't got enough range to take it before or something, and then you have to kind of wait and time it.
Yeah, I guess now, since news is coming in, I guess now what could happen is like since if someone's still looking for sells, I think if this is going to be the breakout candle below this area, and if we're really expecting it to continue down, the next candle should stay below the high of the previous one, and then we should like maybe continue see this move down. I think my stop shouldn't get hit. It's at 453. It's break even. Would you think it's a good idea to wait for the retest on a 30-minute? Yeah, it's good. But at the same time, I mean, two things can happen, right? Either this 30-minute candle can continue pushing down, or the next one can retrace and then push down. So those two things can happen, and those both two things, those two scenarios, this area should get respected around 131,600. I'd say it should get respected if price is going to continue moving bearish. $30-minute candle still got a while to close. Yeah, almost like 10 minutes.
I just got stopped at a GU. Oh boy.
One of them weeks.
CFDs. What's the chance of this being a fake out? Well, if it's a fake out, then it's going to be a fake out. A fake out is going to be like once this candle does not close below 131,500. But if it closes below 131,500, then there's a higher chance for the next one to continue moving bearish. Shouldn't this live start with the launch of the US market? Well, if it said the live starts at US market open, then it would have started at US market open. But it says the live starts at 6:30 a.m. Eastern, so it starts at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. Can you look at this, please? Let's take a look. Oh wow, retracing. Yeah, got stopped out at break even here. I guess it's gonna move later on. GPNZD waiting for price to close below this area to take a sell. Yes. See, so now price is pushing down, so you'd want to see for it to create some sort of a resistance, kind of like a retracement, and then continue pushing down. So that would be a good scenario. One really important tip I have for everyone who's in this live stream in the Zoom session and YouTube chat is like never feel like you really have to be in a trade just because some people are in the same trade. Never feel that way. Like, because you don't know where they entered, you don't know where they're taking profits, where the stop losses, you don't know if they've already taken a trade or if they've already secured profits, or if this is a late entry or an early entry. Never feel that way. Never feel pressured to be in the same trade just because of FOMO. Because FOMO and overtrading are the two same things that will really what's the word? They will really restrict your progress in Forex or trading in general, whether you're trading stocks, options, equities, whatever, so just be mindful of that. See, now once it starts closing above this area, now you can say, okay, well, now we're respecting this area. When news like unemployment claims are released, is the change in price for whatever pair fundamental or not? It depends, like if there's a change in numbers, like they're expecting 3 million, that's what they're expecting here. So if the change is a drastic change, then that's a fundamental change. Like if say the numbers come up to like 4 million, then that's a very drastic change. Or even if it comes to like 3.5 or 3.2, so that's 200,000 more or less. So that's a drastic fundamental change. But if it comes as expected, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it came as expected, so it's considered good news. Like it's still bad because it's still 3 million, but it's good news because that's what was expected. What news do you pay attention to? All the news. Shouldn't it come to a bit more to create a big? What's your opinion on indexes such as Crash, Boom, VIX? I have no idea on indexes. I predict this news will push UJ down. Oh, actually, let's take a look at UJ here since it's USD news. And your USD is, oh, your JPY did react to that area. See, we talked about that area. Let's take a look at UJ. UJ on the daily is rejecting a support on the daily. We got 7 minutes left for unemployment news. Seems like it's approaching some area which was a support on the 29th and the 30th April. Going to the 4-hour chart, it's approaching another like a resistance here on the 4-hour. If we break above here, there's another resistance at 106,800 may tap into. It broke above a resistance down over here at 106,380 during the London session. So that's also a good area there. So let's go down to the 1-hour now. And on the 1-hour, yeah, I guess we're waiting now. So if it does break above 106,570s, 106,600, it's coming up to, like 700 and 750s. Otherwise, it's dropping back down to 106,400. So let's see what happens with this news. Finally, a win for this week. Do you think that by cutting another 50% at TP2 cuts too much profits or for super targets? GPCAD, once that small candle before that big push broke, I took and entered with a stop above it. Okay, nice. Clean traffic. Close 50% at TP2. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Because if you close 50% at TP2, so you close 50% over here at 10 pips, then 50% at TP2. So then if you have a runner running, then, if your runner hadn't had gotten stopped out, there could have been a chance that price would have came up kind of consolidated and then continued further down. That would have been a possibility too. And see now, this GJ is coming back. See this 15 minute? 15 minute is closing below this area here, increasing its chances for it to continue down. The important thing to note is that price didn't really break this high over here, 131,600, which is the 30-minute high over here. See, 131,600. It's still respecting that area. So if you're in sells, the sells are still valid. So this is the difference between, so if price did come up, now most people would get afraid, you'll get afraid and you want to close your full position. This is where I say to close 50%. If you're getting afraid and if price is coming to your stop loss, close 50%. You don't need to close the whole percentage. Just close a portion of it. So if it does hit your stop, you're losing less what you intended to lose, but you're still in the position. Because most times what happens is that you get afraid, you close, and price goes your way, and then you're like, oh man, price went my way and I should have just kept the position open. So it's better to just take 50%. I know some people get anxiety, take 50% anxiety away from the trade and let the rest run. So that's something I have to. How do you close 50% on MT4? I don't think you should be even trading if you don't know how to use MT4. I mean, it's how do people trade a platform they don't even know how to use, man?
Or even Google.
Even Google. Let's go to Google. Google.
You're also on YouTube that's got videos.
Google's not loading because Google knows it's a weird question to ask, and Google's like, I'm not gonna load for you. See, it's not loading. Why is it not? Oh. Uh-oh. Google's not loading. Come on, Google. There we go. How to close 50% on MT4. There we go. Double click on the order or right click close, for example. You have 0.1 trot, want to close half position and let the, yeah, see, look at this. I think someone watches our stream and they wrote exactly what we say. And let the other lot remain. They just changed the wordings here. That's it. And then you hit close. Oh, look, they even have screenshots. Let's take a look at this. Wow, man. Wow, look at this. Done. You close half your position.
Who knew?
Yeah. This is hilarious. Or you can buy magic keys. You know, with magic keys, you have magic keys. With one press of a button, you can close half. You know? You can close half. My house is getting in the way. But you get the idea. All right, this news is coming in hot. Let's use my TradingView subscription and let's take a look at UJ and gold side by side. First time I'm using this subscription for something here. See what happens. All right. Three, two, one. Boom. Nothing. Yeah, I think they're gonna wait for NFP tomorrow. That's what's gonna happen. They'll wait for NFP tomorrow. What are the numbers here? The numbers are, they are, oh, haven't loaded. Ooh, this is bad. This is yellow folder news. Doesn't really make much of a difference at all. Well, nothing really happened. See now, this candle closed below 131,480. Now there's a high chance for it to continue dropping down to, like, down to, 131,100. So I think a good stop is going to be, it's still a 20 pip stop. So you're possibly lowering down your risk. Ooh, bad numbers. 3.1 million. Yeah, NFP is going to be super bad. So back in there again. If you think your stop is too big, you're lowering down your lot size. And then you're anticipating it to continue down. You perfectly lost cuts, as you do know that it will not be a good trade because it may only be forming in an uptrend, higher low, or a downtrend. Don't know if I explained myself well. Yes, that's true. That's true. But at the same time, so there are two ways to go about this, right? Someone can look at this 4-hour change in trend and say, well, now price has to continue going up, so you're only going to look for buys. But someone on the other spectrum can say, well, okay, I'm going to look at these levels and I'm going to anticipate price to continue down over here. Maybe I want to take an aggressive entry at this point. Maybe I want to take an aggressive entry over here, having stops up over here, and anticipate price to continue down, or I want to be conservative and take a sell once we break below 131,350 and leaving a stop maybe above the current candle's high if it does make one and continue down. So this will be a short-term trade. Now you're taking a short-term trade, but it's still going to be a profitable trade, right? So it doesn't matter where the daily is or the 4-hour time frame is. What matters is what can you take out of the market in the moment right now. What can you expect to take from the market right now? That's what matters at the end of the day. GJ up, GUJ down. Okay. Yeah, looks like gold's gonna continue moving here. Once the 30-minute breaks the high here, I think it's gonna continue moving. You keep saying 15-minute chart is a weak confirmation, but that's the chart you are taking trade. I rarely see you take. Yeah, it depends. It's situational. If I go to 30 minutes, okay, let's go to 30 minutes. So on the 30-minute, you can take a sell and having the stop loss above. We talked about the 30-minute. If a candle breaks and closes below here, your stops are up here at like 131,600, and you're you're aiming for down over here. But then you can also go down to a smaller time frame, and then you can talk about it. Like nothing is written in stone. Everything is based on experience. Everything is based on how much you've seen a certain thing happen over and over and over again. So when I say certain things, I'm saying them based on my experience, based on trades I've taken. Maybe your experience is different than mine or someone else's. So, nothing is like exact. Everything is subjective and situational. Let's take a look at this chart. So this is, sell limit here, expecting price to retest broken zone and continue down. Yep, makes sense. This makes sense. Oh, GJ, 1 hour, arrow going down. Very nice. The only thing we can control in trading is our risk. That's it. That's the only thing we can control. We can't control the outcome at all. So you should always know what your risk is going to be. What leverage I use 500 to 1. So, oh, nice. Mac had a sell from up there. The 15 may respect current resistance. Bias is bearish. NY open volume to push it down. Makes sense. Potential target for the end of the week. Interesting. How much longer will you be streaming for? I think for another 30 minutes, 25 minutes. For another 25 minutes. I usually end the stream at like 9 a.m. Eastern. How do you and Ted know each other? We met on the internet. How do I share a link from TradingView? You need to watch the video in the description, and then you can share your charts and we can go over your charts. All right, let's take a look at this. Why do some candles form wicks and the others don't? For example, GG on the 1 hour. It's how it is. It's basically, it is what it is, That's what I have to say to that. Some candles form wicks, some don't, and it is what it is. We can't control that. But what we do know is whenever candle forms no wick, let's say on the 30-minute, if there's a candle head formed no top wick and it closed below the low of the support, that means there was no bullish move on this candle. It didn't even go bullish for even a second. It just dropped. Which means there's no bullish momentum, which means if there's a very, very high chance for price to continue moving down, extremely high probability for price to continue moving down. But at the same time, there's that little probability that once, if, for example, the 15-minute candles start closing above 131,500, then the probability of price moving bearish decreases. And for the price moving bullish increases at that point. So then you start managing your risk. Why don't you answer me, please, Raja? Please see this chart. Okay, let's take a look. Someone got angry. Paste. Let's take a look at this. GJ 5-minute support. Yeah, it makes sense. It's good. I would say really, I would say not looking at it to the 5-minute is going to be much better. Try to look at things based on the 30-minute and the 15-minute. So let's say this is an area here. Candles close below. Let's see how it looks like on the 30-minute chart. 30-minute looks good. See now, when you're looking at this area here to the left, this area here, this area is negligible when you're looking at this current area here, right? Because now price is looking at this support, and whatever that's going to happen over here is going to happen based on this support right here. The thing to the left, it doesn't matter anymore. So if you see candles closing back above 131,450, then there's a high chance price will continue moving up. If you see candles closing below 131,450, then there's a high chance price is going to continue moving down. Let's say if someone was to take a sell over here and have stop loss up over here, then you're going to be in a selling trade. But if the 15-minute starts closing above 131,450, then you have to make a decision. And the decision is going to be based on your risk, whether you want to close 50%, 25%, 75%. That's all up to you, because now the probability of price going down has decreased. So that's how you get fluid. And like the most important thing to, like, people talk about like being fluid and this and that, all that garbage. I mean, being fluid is about understanding where candles are closing and how are you adapting your risk to those candles. I may have switched up my bias to short-term sell from the analysis and earlier, waiting on a bearish candle to firm. What price could we look for a target? The closest zone I have marked is 4-hour support around 13900. 13900. Yeah, that could make sense. I have this zone targeted right over here. This area right over here, because I'm being conservative, and the reason I'm being conservative is that first of all, we need to break this minor support here and then fill this wick over here, and then we have this clean candle, and then the clean candle started from this area right here. And if we extend it to the left, it matches up with this consolidation to the left. And this consolidation had a resistance at this price level. It is like 131, 125. So that's going to be a conservative target right down over here. And then if still, like, there's a lot of volume in the market, then you could see price moving further down. So the targets are always conservative. Then you might want to leave your runner running maybe down towards 13900. So now it's just a waiting game. I think I might be wrong, but I think most of the losses that happen with people are because they give up on the trade too early. Like when trade starts to retrace, they give up. They're like, oh, now it may go against me. So instead of giving up early, just close 50%, close the partial. Just wanted to say thank you. I've been coming here for 1 month to this week and trading for just as long. All the help information. Oh, nice. First positive week. Beautiful. Would you recommend trading the full London session the full London and New York session for trading GJ because it's normally yeah you can do that. I think we have Monty. Monty hosts the London sessions here. If people don't know Monty, this is Monty's channel right over here. You go to YouTube, and then you go to youtube.com. See now price is coming back up, so this is where you're limiting your risk. Trade with Monty. Let's see here. Yeah, so if you type trade with Monty, it's gonna come up over here. Trade with Monty. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's him. Trade with Monty London sessions. So you can go hang out with Monty. Do you ever feel like you are trading your bias as opposed to the price action? I always trade price action. If price action says down, I look for sells. If it says up, then I look for buys. It's a clear bullish Harami price. It should go up at least to fill the wick. If we'll break above 30-minute continue. Yeah, I mean, now if it's coming up and if it starts breaking the highs, then there's a high chance it's going to continue moving bullish. You know, so those are kind of like things that you're constantly looking out for. Could we range all day and fall in Asian or London? That's something I don't know. I don't know whether we can range all day or not, because you know it's a Thursday and Thursday is generally a high volume day, and you have NYC open with volume coming, you have London close with volume coming, so it's very hard to say what's going to happen. What are you trading now? Nothing. I am in no positions at all. How do you prevent from trading on tilt? I have no idea what that is. Came in late, missed any entries? Yes. Had a buy earlier on, very early, and had a little sell as this price was breaking down, and then I was waiting for this low to break to enter another sell, but the low didn't break. How to prevent overtrading? Just focus on 1 or 2 trades, and you're going to be safe from overtrading. Track record. I don't have any track record on a third-party website, but I've posted my March month on my Instagram, my April month, and we're going in May right now, so that's also being posted as we go. So you can go look at that. And all those trades were taken here. Can you take a look at my chart? Yes. If you send it, we'll take a look at it. If I close my positions halfway to target and let the other half hit my full target of 1-to-1, in order to be profitable, wouldn't that mean I have to close half my position when it goes against me? Yes. So I always close half positions when they go against me. You know, because if my targets are 1-to-1, and if I'm winning 1-to-1, then it doesn't make sense to lose 1-to-1. Make sense? So I'm always closing halfway. You know, halfway to target I'm closing. Halfway towards my stop loss, you know, because there's always that little hope that price may go your way. Would it be beneficial if you kept a track record? I think for me, what really worked is since these live streams are recorded, so it helps me a lot, because what I do every day, this is what I do every day, right? So see the 30-minute, it respected the high over there. You know, it didn't really break the high, so it's still good. What really helped me was by going through all my highlights. You know, like once I'm done trading, I take a break for about 1 or 2 hours, and then I come back to the live streams, the highlights, and I watch the highlights. I watch what I said. I watch what I did. I basically see, like, you know, what my performance was, you know, or was there something I could have done better. if I closed too early, how could I have let it running for longer and stuff like that, so then in the next day it helps me to get better. So that's how I look at that. Any advice on patience mentally? Yeah, just cross your arms while you look at the charts. Your mic is better. Oh, thank you. Um, Please, how do you determine resistance and support for banks and other movers of currencies? Dankwa Bismarck. There's no way to identify where the banks have their supports or where all the other major movers have their supports. We don't know that. If someone tells you they know that, they're lying to you, straight up lying to you. Like what really grinds my gears is when someone says, "Oh, I trade with the banks." No one trades with the banks. Like, trust me, anyone who's trading on a retail trading platform, you don't trade with the banks. It's not happening.
Yeah, people have to stop talking about that bank crap. It's makes no sense. It makes no sense. Banks use FX as a hedging tool for other financial instruments. There's no way that we can trade like banks. We don't know where banks are putting their levels. We don't know any of that. That's constantly changing. People who say that have never worked in a bank. Because I can tell you from experience, you literally sit in a boardroom with a bunch of people and you go through models and risk-based scenarios, and based on forecasting on from economics or from economists. There's none of this. Well, we see resistance at 140 right now. There's none of that. It's so asinine that people teach that or say, oh, this is a key bank level. It's not a key bank level. All it is on the charts on the higher time frames is where price has hit a high or a low that fundamentally does not make sense or make sense for the banks based on their risk analysis and based on their portfolio. That's all it is. And if you go work at a bank, each bank has their own risk tools and their own sort of hedging tools to say where they can absorb a lot of the risk. Big banks can absorb more risk, small banks absorb less risk, and then they offload risk, they reinsure risk. It's such a detailed process. So for anybody to try and simplify it and be like, this is a bank level, that's absolutely ridiculous. And you know what? You can tell them to DM me and please explain to me how they know how a bank trades, and then try and figure out in a decentralized market how all the banks trade. It doesn't work that way. It's a decentralized market. They're trying to bring centralized market information into a decentralized market. It doesn't work that way. In the stock market, it's centralized. Everyone on the New York Stock Exchange, the only shares available are the shares available on the exchange. So you can figure out things, you can do stuff, but it's a lot harder. There's no spreads. People have latency issues. There's things of that nature. But in a decentralized market, there are too many players entering the game, exiting the game for you to figure out that kind of stuff. So please don't fall into that trap. It's such a waste of time to talk about. God. Is Raja on mute again, or did he mute me?
Yeah, I was on mute. Keep forgetting this button here, man. What's your view on GJ? I want to see your time frame view because I'm holding a sell from 142,724. 142,724. Wow. If I look at, oh wow, look at this, Ted. If this weekly starts going bearish, I think we can come down to 129,600.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. If it does flip all the way, I think that's the thing. It's very tough right now for it to actually get that flip. But I mean, you could potentially get that deep.
Yeah, we'll just have to break below this 130 level and that's it. Because if this was on, like, let's say the 4 hour or the 1 hour, I would say yeah, we're gonna come down and retest this, like McDonald's arch type of deal. But on the
Yeah,
weekly,
yeah.
could take like a month. See, the 1 hour is about to close, and since the 1 hour is closing about 131,450, now the selling bias is not going too well. Let's take a look here. No comprende español, amigo. No comprende español. Muestra vela de indecisión la cual depende le nada. Makes sense, makes sense. Soporte formado en sesión London. Yeah, support from London session, and I guess you're looking at lower time frames. Con buen cuerpo. Para continuar perfecta conformación. Perfect. Makes sense. I tried. Someone said, "Bhai, love you, yaar. बहुत कुछ सीखा आपसे." Losing my headset over here. Oh, someone's calling me on Instagram. See what I have to deal with every day.
Les cucarachas es grandes, por favor.
Por favor. Man, I don't want to answer this Instagram call.
You should put it. You should put it on the screen.
Yeah, I did. I showed him. Look, someone's calling me. Okay. Gold TP. Oh, someone hit gold TP here. I didn't even look at gold. Man, I haven't even looked at gold in 2 months.
Yeah, gold's very interesting.
Gold is in its own world. Oh yeah, gold did go up. It's approaching this level here, 1700. Oh, nice. Price broke previous high, entered on the retest with stop loss below previous candle, but now moved stop loss. Nice. See this 30-minute candle, it didn't really break the previous high, but it's still open and it's still got 3 minutes left for it to close. See what happens. Oh yeah, I remember this trade. This chart. Someone sent from before. Milk the trade FX. This was a paper trade. Nice. See, so paper trades are really nice because now what you're doing is you're basically saying that, okay, you know what? You're saying, I'm not a dummy, like this made sense. So when this happens next time, you're going to be able to execute it. But the problem is going to be like that, like let's say if this does work on your paper trade, sometimes what's going to happen is that some people are going to say, okay, well, it worked here. Now I'm going to take a second trade on my proper account. But you have to understand you already took one trade. So now looking for a trade for your account is going to be looking for a second trade. Might not work. Let's take a look at this. This is AUD USD 15-minute chart. Raja Zivu Voyun Kaso Un Kaso Riteso Pincez-vous. Yep, makes sense, makes sense. Un instant, s'il vous plaît. I don't speak French. Guys, how do you even view the trading view links in the comments? I'm getting error because you need to watch the video. Is wick fill when the body finishes with wick covered to the left or just wick fill and drop back? Wick fill is wick fill, man. I mean, see this wick here? Candle left the wick at resistance. Next candle retraced, respect the previous high, filled the wick, made a new low. Next candle, respect the previous high, filled the wick, made a new low. This candle, respect the previous high, wick filled, made a new low. This candle, respect the previous high, didn't really do a wick fill, but it's closing right now. It's closing at a very, very interesting level. If it closes below 131.450, there's a very high chance the next candle is going to continue bearish. So got to keep that in mind. Oh, someone, how much to join market fluidity? You cannot join market fluidity by asking those questions. Now guys are going to start sending me charts in different languages. Someone sent me a chart in Arabic. I can't read Arabic. If you were taking a position on gold, where would you enter apart from around 1687? I didn't spot any. 1687 is way down over here. I guess if I was entering on gold, since I see a lot of consolidation here, I might want to move to a higher time frame to see some more information. Might want to move to a 30-minute or I might enter on the 1 hour. See, on the 1 hour, it looks very clean. Look at this, a 1 hour. This situation was the same doji situation on euro. Let's go back to the euro here real quick. So if you look at the euro JPY on the 1 hour here, see how this candle closed with the doji and the next candle formed based on the previous candle. Kind of the same thing happened on gold. Candle closed doji, next candle formed based on the previous candle because it formed above 1692.58 and then continued bullish. What happened on gold last 5 minutes? It went bullish. See now the 30-minute candle, it closed at that area. Now it gets really difficult to take a sell because the candle closed bullish, the previous candle. So I think a better opportunity is going to be to wait for this low to break, like 131, 350. I think 350 would be better. And then expect price to continue moving down. It's also, the time is coming close here for me to leave here soon too, so I might start packing up. Got to take all these decorations off the wall, this orange thing, those green plants. So got to start cleaning stuff. Do you have many servants? No, actually, no. I do my own work. We used to have servants when we were in Pakistan. We had 4 servants. One used to clean our house. One used to do our laundry. We had a gardener. We had a guard. We had a guard. And now, since this epidemic has started, um, we we take care of the we take care of their monthly expenses of their families there, because believe it or not, it's really cheap. So I called the guy there and I asked him, hey, what's your monthly expenses like? Because me and my brother, we took this upon us to, like, maybe help them for the next 2-3 months, and they're like, oh, it's $120. We're like, a week? They're like, a month. I'm like, oh wow, okay, no problem. So, like, I think we're in a very blessed position. Whoever's in a blessed position to help people, man, like, I think all the success you're gonna get is through karma, and I think everything I have now is because of the fact that I've never held back in helping people. Either it's been through, like, knowledge, through like financial gains, or through intellectual gains, whatever it has been. I've never held back, even though, like, like, most of my webinars are on YouTube. I've never held back and said, no, 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 these webinars are for my groups or for my members, you can't watch these. Like, guys like AstroFX does, or Austin Silver FX, or Q Banks and stuff, like guys like that. Like, they like hoarding information is not good. Like, of course I hoard some information which is specifically for my groups, but most of all is for everybody, because I want people to succeed. Like, when people come to these live streams, when a new person comes to these live streams, they're very confusing. Like, we have like 1,600 people right now watching, and some of you, when you would have came to the live streams, you would have said, oh man, this is so confusing, we don't know what the fuck is going on. But after a while, you start to get the hang of it. So when you watch some of the webinars on my YouTube channel, that kind of gives you some sort of an insight on how we function on the live streams, on how, like, we trade, or things we look for. So I think that's good in that way. Yeah, waterfall is coming on GJ. I'm not in any trades. I'm not taking a trade. I just want to watch this waterfall. We're about to break the 30-minute here. This one, it didn't break the high over here. So if I was in the sell, and if I close 50%, I'd be taking a second entry as it breaks this low and keeping my stop above the current 30-minute candle. That's what I would be doing, because this waterfall is going to happen till 131,200. It's coming in. The waterfall on GJ is starting now, and it's going to head over to 131,200. GJ confused on which direction to take. Yeah, it's going to continue down. When you take a second entry, do you reduce risk? Yes. So, this is pretty good. Bye, Raja. I'm done for the day. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I will take the one. What? Yeah. See, now it's broken the low on the 30-minute. It has a very high. It has a very high probability to continue down now. I mean, I don't think it should have any business going back up. I think the only business it should have is continuing down to 131,200. Especially down over here to fill this wick here to the left, 131,300, which is like 4 pips away. But still good. Are you in GJ cells? No, for the 10th time. I'm in no trades at all. When you see trades happen, it's not important you should be in a trade. You can just sit back and watch. Like, I'm not taking any trades. I already took my trades. I did what I had to do, and then that's it. Now guys are asking, is this a good sell? Man, we've been talking about this GJ sell since the last 2 hours. This is not a signal service stream. So yeah, I mean it should continue moving to 131,200 here. Dang, I thought GU looked like a good long. I guess not. Let's take a look at GU here. GU, right here. GU. Oh, GU was not a long. You see, candles are all closing bearish. 30-minute close bullish, whatever. Oh yeah, GU did come down here. Nice. We were talking. I remember we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, it just whipped up in that 115-minute candle, and then everything else played out.
Yeah.
The 2 15-minute candles.
Raja, some of us just came in. You have to excuse us for asking so many questions. Well, try going into your classroom late. Try going into your class like when there's 10 minutes left, and see, and then ask questions and see what people say. I mean, come on, I mean, you have to be on time. You know, the stream starts at 6:30. Everyone knows by 9:30 we're like looking to head out. You know, so like if you come in late, then I don't know, man. Raja, you don't have very good signals. That's true. Whatever makes you happy. So let's take a look at this. All right. So this is the. Oh wow. Yeah, it's a very good entry there. I think you should start securing some profits or start putting stops at break even and whatnot. I mean, that's going to be a good idea. I think if you're on the daily, yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Your target is 120. It could happen in the next couple of months. Can you look at oil? No, you need to send a chart for me to look at oil. Raja, GJ, sell or not, bro? I have sell. I think you're good for a sell. I think your sell is gonna go till 131,200. It's gonna get to 121,200, 31,200. I mean, we give really good ideas here. Oh, what's this? USD ZAR. Wick to be failed. Okay, 1 hour close bullish below resistance. Very likely to be a retest to go for sell. Yeah, I think this whole area is in a consolidation area now. So if you're looking for sells, I'm not sure. But GJ is on its way to 131,200. Passengers, fasten your seatbelts. This is the captain speaking. We are continuing down to 131,200. Oh, Vincent hit TP. Why 131,200? Why? That's just my target. You know, that's my mental target. If it goes to 131,200, I can say, oh, yay, it went to 131,200. But if it doesn't go, then I'm like, oh, we didn't go over there. So people who are asking about targets, you need to send charts. You need to send your charts. And if people wonder why Ted is quiet, because there are too many questions like these. And these questions go in the category of dumb questions. You know, so. And a good question is a question asked with a chart. That's a good question. See now, Mac has sent a chart. We will look at that chart. Oh, nice. Look at that. Look at that, Mac, with a re-entry there for a sell. Mac, I think you can put your stops at break even now. Yeah, Mac is getting better. Very nice. Where is Mac? Is Mac still in the chat? Let's see here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, hello there.
Hey, hello. So yeah, I had sales from
Nice, man. It's pretty good.
1,550, and then I re-entered.
Nice.
If you look at the 5 minute, there's a nice clean move coming if this 5 minute breaks.
Ooh.
Ooh, nice, perfect.
Look to the left. Squeeze it a little bit more, Raja. See that? This whole section here.
Yes.
If it breaks past this area here.
Yeah, nine more pips, and I'll be out.
This 15 minutes also about to close. This is just beautiful. Yeah, once we cross this wick, it's gonna go boom boom. See now, since price has reached this wick, this is where now you're securing something. You know, because we don't know whether price will react to this wick and go up or continue moving down. So this is where you're securing and you're letting your runner do all the heavy lifting now. Because price moving through this area is going to be heavy lifting. So you want the runner to do the heavy lifting. The runner is like your servant, you know. You don't want to do the heavy lifting. You want your servant to do the heavy lifting. So this is what you need to do.
All right, I closed everything. I'm out, guys. Goodbye.
All right, take care.
See you later.
Bye bye. Bye, Ted.
See ya in the gulag.
I'll get him play again. Bye.
See you in the gulag. You know, I was researching about Gulag, and there was a book written by this Russian author called the Gulag Archipelago, something like that, Gulag Archipelago, and it was all based on like how when the I think it was Soviets were waging like these wars on these workers, these middle class farmers. You know, so basically they were taking all their land and they were forcing them to give 90% of their profits over to the government or whoever was in charge. And if they refused, they were driven out of their lands and they were left in the wilderness, like, you know, like in the Russian winters. They were, yeah, they were left there and they were just forced to fend for themselves, and most of them died. And the people who did survive, they led the Great Russian Revolution, where the Soviet Union was, you know, brought down. So that's where the Gulag came from. Like when you are forced into oppression, you're sent to the Gulag, and when you win from the Gulag, now you come back stronger. So that's what it was. Because I wanted to know where this Gulag thing came from. Yes, I did my research. Yeah, we play Call of Duty. So what if we entered at the break of 350? Okay. And that wick is only about 4 pip profit. How would you manage your trade? Well, I wouldn't enter at 350. I would have probably entered at the break right over here and expected price to continue moving bearish. So if you entered at 350, then that's a late entry and your stops are way up over there, 15 pips big, and then you're expecting price to continue down. So either way, that's not going to be a good entry at 350. Let's take a look at the 15. Yeah, 15 minutes just started, so that's not going to be a good entry.
Ideally, if you're looking for an entry now, you have to place it below this area here, and then your take profit is probably this area here. I wouldn't be trying to take trades in this candle because it could possibly pop all the way up here. I'd be looking for trades below this area. So that means that this candle now has formed a wick up and it will drive back down. That's what I'd be looking. And I'd be looking for a clean break from this area here and also this, because you can see what's happening. If you map this out visually in your head, you can see that this is a zone, right? So you can see how this candle currently is playing within that zone. So if you know that, and you know that this area here is a clean movement. Oh, oops, wrong thing. If you know that this area here has a clean candle movement, you know that I can't take trades until this candle breaks into this area here on anticipation that we're going to move from this area here to this area here, and that this becomes your trade at this point. This area here becomes your trade, and that your risk is essentially going to be the top of this candle here at that point. I mean, this is how you're trading. This is how you're supposed to anticipate things. You can't turn around and take a trade on this candle here because this candle went down. If you're in on this candle here, this candle becomes irrelevant because you should be already securing profits up, or securing your trade. The problem is people saw this candle here, and then as soon as the 15 minutes started, they jumped into the next candle. You don't do that. You wait for it to break this area here first. Otherwise, this candle could pull all the way back up here. Then we can go all the way around, and then we could start to head back down, right? And this is the mistake people make all the time. They always make this mistake. Well, I missed the trade over here, so now I got to jump in right as soon as the next candle starts. No, the idea is you wait for this candle to break below because you want to see continued momentum. Perfect example, you have this area right here. This is a perfect example, right? Perfect textbook example. I missed the trade over here, so now I'm going to enter in on the next candle, and boom, Bob's your uncle, goes all the way up, and then, oh, look, stops me out here. Oh, and then, you know what, Ted, it goes my direction again. I don't understand why I get stopped out all the time when I took a trade when this candle was bearish. Yeah, because what you were trying to do was you were trying to, you're trying to chase this trade that, it's going to go down here, so I got to get in over here. No, wait for this to break, and then you have a safe opportunity at that point, because what essentially two things happen. One, you have the whole move from here in terms of liquidity. Two, you have a rejection now up over here, which matches to the left here and to the left over here, and that gives you your power to move further down. But if it doesn't move down and your trade is over here, your sell stop over here, it doesn't get activated. You close it and then let it do whatever it does. If it goes over here and does whatever, that's it. Don't put yourself into a position where, well, because I missed the first 15-minute candle, I need to get in here. No, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that at all, because what ends up happening is if you enter in your 15-minute candle here, your stop has to be above here, because there is a good chance that we can come all the way back up here. So you don't know how this 15-minute candle is going to work. What you can do now is say, hey, at least if I put my sell stop here, my stop loss can then go over here afterwards, because this candle will have already started to show bearish rejection at that point. And when you figure that out, it becomes a lot easier, because now you know your target is this clean traffic in this section here specifically. And if it goes further down, hey, you can manage your trade and then let it move to that level. But that's what you're waiting for. That's what you're going to do, and that's how you're going to execute on that. And you can probably watch this chart right now live, and that exact thing is going to happen. It might not be this 15-minute candle, it might be the next one, but more importantly, what'll happen is you'll have that huge push down, because now this wick has the rejection that you need, and you're going to have that clean traffic all the way to move right here. And as you can see, if you had placed a buy stop right here, you basically have no drawdown, and you just keep moving along, and you know that we're going to fill this area here. So there you go. That's how trading works. That's what you do in life. That's what makes things easier for yourself. And you can see now you've basically created a trade with no drawdown, and you've basically taken what you needed to do, and you can start looking to the left. You know, if you look to the left on the higher time frame, you can see there was a little bit of a wick there, so you know that that could be your target right over here. Oh. Raja keeps with the chart on me. It was over here somewhere. There was a wick there on the hourly, so yeah, right here. Jesus Christ. But that's ideally what you'd want to do, and you know, now you can manage the trade accordingly, and you could say, hey, this was a good target on my hourly. It'll probably push through because we're in a clean hour, and now you're moving right down there. 200 was Raja's target. 200 is easily achievable now, and that's your trade. So that's how you would enter the trade. And for people that were worried about their profits, they would have secured it at the 15-minute time frame. You would have had the next idea, and this is exactly what you'd want to do. You got to 200 from that 300 point, right? We were at like 315 or so. You got down to 215. There's your trade. And you'll see now as we come towards the market, New York Stock Exchange, you might find that you're going to get a push towards the last 5 minutes or so, just as new volume enters. So you're going to get a little bit of a push, probably get to this point here, and your next 30-minute candle is going to do a whole lot of crap over here. So at this point, you should be securing profits very easily. You know, once again, our target was this area over here. We had the clean traffic once we broke this area, and you can see how clean that movement moved, and we should hit this area here. This area here. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you can remove your seatbelts. We have reached our destination. Man, we did a complete play-by-play on GJ.
Yeah, I know. It's just another day in the markets.
Just another day. Yeah, so if you guys liked this play-by-play breakout, you liked this trade, you took this trade, made profits, just, you know, like the stream, because a lot of people gain a lot of value from this. Oh, let me just like my own stream here, because Ted and Raja did a good job.
Yeah, and this is the thing, and when you look at that, this was, you know, once again, this is a 15-minute candle, right? So this is a 15-minute move. You can't expect to get 40 pips out of 15 minutes. Maybe you only get 10 pips here. But the key point of this trade was there was no drawdown. There was no drawdown to this trade. And when people ask me, well, how do you get no drawdown? That was the reason why, right? We were patient, we waited. You got stuck up over here, and essentially you get 10 pips with no drawdown. So your risk to reward is 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, right? So at this point, if you closed with 5 pips or you closed with 7 pips, that's a great trade because of the fact that you had no drawdown. So your risk to reward ratio is over the moon, right? If you closed with 3 pips, technically speaking, you had a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. Isn't that what we're all looking for? 1 to 7, 1 to 9, 1 to 8. These are the trades. When people start talking about those risk to rewards, yeah, you only caught 7 pips or 6 pips, but you did it with no drawdown. There was no scary movement with this pair. If you had done that correctly, now you know, as you hunt trades, those are some characteristics of the trades that you're looking for. And that's exactly what you want to do. And now we've hit this target, which we expected, right? This is the grayed out area. We knew we had clean traffic. So now you have that clean traffic. We broke down this move here for perfectly clean traffic, right? This is what we did. This is your exit. This is your exit. You had no drawdown and you had a 15 pip trade with no drawdown. You can't get greedy at this point. You now have to exit the trade and say, thank you. That was my target. That was exactly what I wanted. I have to leave. If you don't do that, this is where you get into trouble, because yeah, this can keep moving down 100%. I agree. But what if it all of a sudden in the next 30-minute candle, it pulls all the way back up? You're going to feel like a jackass. You can't get upset now that if you close your trade where your target was, that's a problem. You can't get upset at yourself with that. Even if this goes down to 130 right now, you can't turn around and say, oh man, I should have held because I got in at 131, 300. If you were going to do that, then you would say, okay, once I get to this point here, I'm securing my trade over here. This was my initial entry. This is my profit that I'm happy with. And now if this continues to go down, I'll continue to manage the trade. And then you say, well, Ted, how do I manage the trade? Well, this candle is continuing to move. So we know we had our stop loss placed over here, or on the 15-minute candle, it was probably placed over here. Now that it's moving, if we go, Raja, can you jump into the 15 quick? Our stop loss was originally here. Now that we have this clean move, so we telegraphed this clean move, you now have to say, okay, based on what's happening here, this could be a new zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my stop here so I can let the move up to go further down at this point, because we don't know where this 30-minute candle is going to move down to. Okay, so that's what you have to figure out. That's how you manage that. And if you don't have a wick like this currently, then you maybe have to move to the 5-minute time frame, or maybe you have to wait for the next 15-minute candle to form and then you move your stop loss. But at this point, your trade has succeeded. You could see how your trade succeeded. You had 2 5-minute candles that drove down to finish this move for yourself. So when you're looking at the information in front of you, this is how you map out your trade exactly the way you want to do it. And from a probability standpoint, will this happen 100% of the times? No. But does it happen the majority part of the time? Raja said for 10 minutes, we're going to 200, we're going to 200, fasten your seatbelts. You missed the first initial entry, I showed you the second initial entry, or the second entry. Either way, you would have been profitable. Second entry had no drawdown, first entry, you didn't even come close to your stop. So this is what you have to plan. And this is why you show up at 6:30 in the morning, so that you can get these ideas and then finally move to them when you actually get to, these moves actually happening at this point, right? Because this move here, someone said earlier, was a fake out, which was right. But then you caught the second move right down to this level. Yep. And now you can see the same thing on the 30-minute candle right now. It happened on the 15-minute candle up here. So what do we know? We know that probably we're going to have to place an order below here, but wait, we have an issue now. We have all this traffic over here. So it's not as clean as it was over here. So you see the variables now change. So what we applied to this variable here, we can't apply over here, because this area here is not the same as this area here. That is the other issue people do, because people will turn around and say, well, look, Ted just said if I put a sell stop here, I'm going to have the move continue. I just placed my stop over here. No, that move worked for this area. Clean traffic. Looking to the left now, we don't have the same information that we had up here. So the variables change. So when the variables change, we can't apply the same principles. This is the reason why you fail as a trader, because you're trying to take information that was relatively easy with variables that were clearly defined and map it over to every single time you do a trade. You can't do that. You can't do that. We see the variables that have changed. The variables that have changed is the traffic that is right here. That's the variable that has changed. So really, does it make sense to take a trade here? Nope. Where should you have taken your trade? Over here. Did we take a trade over there? Yep. That's where you would have gone.
Testing. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was perfect. Even this second entry right over here, now would have, man, this went really nice. 25, 26 pips. Wow, we smashed it. Everybody smashed it here on YouTube. People in Zoom smash it all the time anyway, so. All right, everybody, I'm gonna head off.
Enjoy.
Take care. Yeah, enjoy. Take care. We'll see you guys tomorrow. NFP time.
And the special guest.
Yes, the special guest. Yeah, I'm gonna see why haven't they sent the link.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, see you guys. Man, oh man, what's this? Albert Gary. Guy's been sending me a chart to see for all this time. What's this chart? How about this? Do you think this is my entry? Yeah, it's a good entry. Clean traffic, same like GJ. All right, have fun.